After trying these organic San Marzanos, they weren't very good at all. The flavor wasn't there. They're totally different. So I'm not a really big fan of these. But you may be. But that was just my personal opinion. It is GMO free. They're vine ripe San Marzanos, but I wasn't really impressed. So the big thing is important is you want to wash off these tomatoes to get rid of some of the acidics, and when you wash these off, you're going to see how ripe your tomato really is. This is pretty important. This brine that it's in sometimes makes the tomato almost a bit pungent. So I prefer to actually wash the tomatoes over water. Some people do it several times. You really want to get the flavor of the meat in the tomato, and that's important. So that's step one. Step two would be to peel off these areas of the tomato, the top portion of it and the bottom portion of it. You can see this still has some of the peel on it. We don't want that. We want to break that off. Want to go through all these and look. A little stem right here, you want to pull that out. Usually that doesn't have much flavor. Some of them, depending on what type you have that, the little veins inside. You want to try to get rid of some of those. That will give you more flavor. And you also want to go through and get the seeds. Seeds are very, very bitter, and you don't want to have the seeds. Seeds make your sauce very, very bitter. So you want to try and go through and kind of pick out some of the seeds. After we do that, we're going to go right into crushing these by hand, or showing you how to puree them with a little hand blender. So I got most of that out. You're going to see some of those veins in there. You want to try and pop some of those out. But and the seeds, try and go through and get as many seeds as you want. And we're going to dump this into a stainless steel bowl and go ahead and grind it up. I'll show you that. Go ahead and use one of these at low or high speed. And what you do is you just turn this on and go ahead and start pureeing these tomatoes. So right here we just pretty much pureed our San Marzanos. This is really called a simple sauce. If you add just a little bit of sea salt, Sicilian sea salt, or just regular salt, and blend that in a bit, that's pretty much what a DOP sauce would be. You could add things, but not necessarily that's going down the DOP guidelines. Would be oregano or basil or oleo, like olive oil and stuff like that, but that's not necessarily the case when it comes to a Neapolitan. If you are looking for to cut down the acidics, and they say you should never add sugar to the San Marzanos because they don't really need it, but sometimes from year to year they do tend to be pungent a little bit or acidic. Some people just add sugar. That could be something that you can add. Some people add baking soda, which is a neutralizer. So if you added baking soda to this, it would actually neutralize the acidics, and it would make your sauce, make the sweetness of the sauce and the tomatoes come out. Some people actually grate pecorino romano or some sort of cheese. The dairy tends to cut down the acidics in food. So those are some items you can do. I just recommend just a little bit of sea salt, Sicilian sea salt, or an Italian style sea salt, or just maybe a little bit of sugar, and you should be good to go. This is ready to use. You don't really necessarily need to put this in a cooler. You can actually use it right now. The longer it usually sits out, the more the acidics usually will tend to die, so it'll break down a bit. But you know, if you want to sweeten it up, or if you want to kill that acidity, you can just add a little bit of sugar or some of the other items that I said, and it should work just fine. You can see right there, there's not very many seeds, there's no peels or anything like that, so this is a really, really good San Marzano sauce. All these brands are really, really good, just depending on the year. But as I talked to you earlier, some of the brands tend to be small or young, and they don't tend to be a number one like I like to see. So your yield is different in all your cans, and these are smaller cans. We like to use a number 10 can, which is a lot bigger in the food industry, and you know, that tends to be a bit different. But these are all DOPs, and hopefully this helped you out. We're going to be making a pizza margarita soon with the sauce I just made, so hopefully you can check that video out. Thank you very much. I'm Tony Giuliani.